This next inductee gives me so much pleasure to introduce. Those that don't know me, I've been ring announcing throughout New England for, if God keeps me around till October, 30 years. And I said how we had wrestlers, announcers, referees behind the scenes. But this young lady sitting right here in the front row, second generation, her father. Anybody that's listened to anything that Jim Ross has talked about, at least once you've heard about Leroy McGuirk. And the predecessor, to, I guess, to Mid-South Wrestling. And his daughter was the ring announcer for Wrestling Challenge. And when she started, I don't care what it's called now, when she started in the WWF, not only did she do ring announcing, but she did commentary with a member of our elite class of 2010. Do you remember the Duke of Dorchester, Pete Doherty? So our next inductee is Mike McGuirk, and here to induct Mike McGuirk is my co-host. She hosted the red carpet. She's done ring announcing. She's a hell of a singer. She's in a band. By God, please welcome Miss Deana Ray to the stage.
I'm like 4'10". Okay. So good evening. It is an honor and a privilege to be here tonight. And I must say that I most likely wouldn't be here if it weren't for our next inductee. She not only broke the glass ceiling, she smashed it, making her mark and paving the way for so many women in this industry. She was an inspiration when I first started my ring announcing, and continues to be an inspiration to me and to so many to this day. She was WWF's first female ring announcer and first female color commentator, yet her gender did not define her. Not immune from criticism, she dispelled the wisecracks, proving herself again and again each week, inside the ring, outside the ring, and behind the scenes. She quickly earned the respect of her male colleagues within the organization and beyond. Her talent, grace, poise, and professionalism really is a testament to who she is. Born into a wrestling family, her father, Leroy McGuirk, ran wrestling promotions. That's where she got her start, ring announcing. However, her television debut was right here in New England, Springfield Civic Center, April 1987, for WWF Wrestling Challenge. My husband, brother-in-law, they were there that night, and I'm sure many who were in the crowd tonight were there too. They witnessed history that night. Her memorable career began that night and continued throughout the 80s and the 90s during wrestling's true golden era. She may have been known for her sparkly tuxedos, but it was truly her incredible talent and work ethic that stretched far beyond just ring announcing. Throughout her career, she assumed various responsibilities, both on the air and off the air, from commentary with Pete Doherty and Bruce Pritchard to producing backstage promos. Her duties were far-reaching. Her multifaceted contribution to wrestling is absolutely tremendous, solidifying her place in wrestling history and her induction here tonight. Please join me in welcoming Mike McGuirk to the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame.
And the story goes, and welcome to the World Wrestling Federation. However, we are at the New England Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and I don't know how I can live up to the words that she has just said, but I am so thankful to be here. I am amongst family. Wrestling is what we're all here about. I didn't know, I even had a clue what my future would look like when I was young and was in the ring with the wrestling bear. My mom was selling tickets, my dad was in the back with the guys, and all of a sudden Leroy McGuirk's daughter's in the ring. Hey, that was when I was 5 years old, so I guess I was destined, and that calling kept at me. And I think I didn't know better when somebody said women can't do this. I was not a pro-women's lib. I just had the love of this business and the people that's in it. I've met, from the time I was little, from all kinds of characters. The most education that I could ever have was you people. The fans, the wrestlers, their families. That's an education that school cannot give you. My father is a huge influence and will always be an influence to me. His career far exceeds mine. I couldn't even compare. My dad was born with 2 eyes. He lost one at the age of 12. It was accidentally kicked out, and the only sport that would take him and accept him was wrestling. He didn't expect that that would be his lifelong career. He went on to a college. He was 2-time national champion with 1 eye. Yes. He went on in his college career. He was majored in journalism with a minor in psychology. I was in trouble. The man could and did. I grew up sitting and watching him sit at a typewriter, blind, and he wrote every story of every color of the detail of every wrestler that was on the card. Because of his background in the journalism field, that's where he knew to get it into the newspaper. He had it all written up, and then we would go, before the show, we would go to the local newspaper, submit it, and we got free press. So, and not only that, I will tell you, when he did graduate from college, he went into the sports desk at the Tulsa World. Well, there was a gentleman that came, probably, I think he said probably 2 or 3 months, and he was a promoter, Sam Avey, that came out of Canada. He was also promoting hockey and everything else, but he had noticed my dad's career. And he asked my father, he said, "What are you making here?" And my dad said, $25 a month. He said, "How would you like to make $25 a week?" My dad left journalism. He left the paper. He went on to be junior heavyweight was his love, his class. And then a tragic accident happened in 1951. There was a car accident. He was in the passenger seat. And after he had been wrestling that night, and he had a driver, and they had gone out. And on the way back, the drunk driver hit them head on. He was wearing his sunglasses, as he often did, to cover up the 1 eye. And he can remember, I can remember him telling me about what it was like to have the only good eye, and that's where the glass went through. In a period of about a year, he said it was like a curtain closing. And he felt that was kind of closing on his career. What was he going to do? Where was I going to go? He was not a blind man. I can tell you that he saw. He had visual image, and every wrestler that ever worked for him, he always sized him up, and he had a mental capacity that was unbelievable. He remembered everything and what they looked like. He came also to protect me. He never wanted me in this business. He was afraid of what maybe I wouldn't be strong enough, or God knows what he was thinking, but he was a protective father. And I have a strong personality just like he did. I was not going to be taken no. And when I started selling programs for my dad, I knew it. I loved watching the wrestlers and what they did. I loved how every one of them, from the lady wrestlers, and of course, my dad, the fans would come up and they would ask my father, "Hey, is that the next ladies champion?" And I could see those glasses that my dad would wear, and this one eyebrow would come up, and I knew it was like, that's not good. That's not good. Because he knew how hard it was. He knew how hard it was for the ladies. I grew up, there's not a name that's been mentioned here tonight that I haven't grown up with, and you speak of Duke. He told me I needed to be in the kitchen. That's where, so that, he was, what a great guy. Hey, you got to be tough in this business, okay. So, yeah, but the banter that I went through all my life, they told me that when the wrestlers gave me a hard time, they liked you. And believe me, I must have been liked really well, so, yeah. I am one fortunate person. Now, some of them say that I earned it. I don't know. Hopefully I did. There was a lot of people along the way that gave me a chance. I got to tell you that Vince McMahon was and will always be the one that opened so many doors for me. But he also, I think, too, that I had to come to the table, and I had some proving to do. My first time that I was out, who do you think I'm sitting next to? Howard. And yeah. And I mean, all of this, and I'm sure everyone that looked at me thought, what has Vince gotten to now? What has he brought? I just grew with it. And I used to come back at the end of our television shows, Steve Taylor, our photographer here, and I would ask Vince, how'd I do? And he said, I'll tell you how you do. Don't come and ask me. So when he never said anything, I think I'm doing pretty good. So I hung in there, and I can tell you my first person that I had a dressing room with was Frankie the Bird. Coco Bewares, yeah. So you know that my future is looking bright. So, and when we did any of the live shows, you didn't make waves. There was not anything called divas back in those days. We just wanted to be a part of the show. Sherry, myself, and Elizabeth. I realized that I have a reason to be able to speak. I cannot speak for them, but on behalf of them. What wonderful, wonderful ladies to be with and to work around. And we all wondered, what the heck are we doing? And we just went with it. And it got bigger and larger. I defended this business from the time that I was a little girl. My middle name is Kathleen. I went by that when I was going to school because I was so embarrassed of being Mike, and everybody knew that my dad was involved in professional wrestling, and everybody wanted to tell me that it's fake. Well, I kicked a lot of those people that used to tell me that it was fake, and I said, you just need to come over to my house and tell that to my dad. I never had a taker. So Mike has also opened up many doors. Obviously, I think a lot of that I was a gimmick for Vince, because let's go to our ring announcer, Mike McGuirk. And they're like, where? here I am. But I also, too, carried myself around the guys because I respected them, and I wanted their respect. I didn't earn it. They were the ones that were giving their bodies and taking the bumps. And I will tell you this, that when this was presented that this would be happening to me, I could just know that my dad was looking down and go, what the hell are you being inducted for? I'm the one that took the bumps. So, this honor is truly, deeply so special to me. It's 3 years in the making, Joseph Bruin. We've been talking about this. And for it to come to fruition there was never a doubt in my mind, come hell or high water, I was going to be here. And hell tried to give me a little hard time yesterday and this morning getting here, but I'm here. So again, yeah, thank you. Thank you. And again, all the inductees, Barry Horowitz was in character today when I got on the plane. He kayfabed me. He had no idea. Yep. Yeah, it's typical. It's okay. But that's the guys. It's all right. I'll get even with you later. But thank you, the inductees. What an honor it is to be around you and amongst you for the class of 2023. And for those that have gone before us that's not with us, I could tell you 1,000 stories, and some of them I'm not going to put out there. It's pretty cherished. But by the way of Jim Ross, my dad did start Mr. Ross in his profession. Yep. Now, Jim likes to sell books, so be careful about some of those stories that he says. Because the first time that I saw him after his first book came out, he looked at me and he said, "Are you here with your attorney?" Not quite. Go ahead, Jim. That's all right. And we're still friends today, and that's the way that I feel about this, that you guys are family, no matter what. And thank you, the fans, thank you. It's so great to be back here in New England, right? Yeah. Providence, Rhode Island. Once again, I won't go too much longer, but again, my heart is just jumping out of my body, and thank you so much, all of you. Thank you. God bless you.
That was awesome. Hopefully Stanford takes note of what we did first. Mike McGuirk, ladies and gentlemen.